Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. And in this video, I'm going to focus on the symptoms and just different things I've been experiencing during my 10th and 11th week, or about halfway through my 11th week of this triplet pregnancy. So stay tuned to hear all about that. Okay guys, so just a refresher too for anyone who may be new, welcome. I am currently pregnant with triplets, and we got pregnant through the process of IVF. After struggling with infertility for almost 6 years, we are now pregnant for the first time with 3 babies, which is just crazy to think about, but very amazing and very thankful. And also there's some, just scary things, part of it as well. Just, we know that I am high risk, and, it's just my body being able to handle 3 babies at once, the babies being able to come healthily and all of that. So I know that it is possible, and there are lots of people that have triplets. So I am thankful for that, and I'm thankful to be in good hands with high-risk maternal fetal medicine doctors. So I am very thankful for that. But yeah, there's just, I guess with any pregnancy you can kind of have some concerns, but with, when they tell you you're high risk, it just kind of gives you more, I guess, concerns, but also it's also just teaching me a lot about just trusting and surrendering, and just knowing that ultimately I am not in control, and I just try to do the best I can to take care of myself, and just trust God with these little lives. And it's crazy. Sometimes I just stop and think like, wow, I have 3 humans growing inside of me, and it's just strange to think about sometimes. It's just shocking, really. I remember when I first found out I was pregnant, even that was weird. I was walking around in like a grocery store, and I was thinking, I have a human growing inside of me and no one knows it. But I know. And then now it's like I have 3 of them growing inside of me, which is just crazy. So, and currently my app says that I haven't really been doing this. I'm sure some of you who are pregnant or have been pregnant know that, those apps kind of compare the size of your baby to different fruits or so many different things. So the one I was looking at recently said it was the size of a fig, which they are the size of a fig. It's not it's multiple. So just thinking, I don't know about that big, something like that. I don't know. Who knows? Sometimes these fruit measurements and vegetable measurements all, can be varied depending on what, a fig can vary in size, I guess is what I'm saying. But to think that there are 3 of those inside of me, it's kind of crazy. So yeah, but I will move on to just how I've been feeling symptom-wise and all of that. A new symptom has come up in the last, from week 10 to week 11. I'm 11 and a half weeks right now, and that is headaches. And they're not every day, but like even I will say right now I have kind of a little bit of a dull headache. It's not bad at all right now, but there are some days that it's really bad. Like it was yesterday morning actually. I had a really bad headache, and it kind of started last night, the night before when I went to bed, and then I would wake up in the middle of the night thinking that it was going to be gone, because usually if I go to sleep and then I wake up, it's gone, but it was like still there. So every time I woke up it was still there, and then when I woke up in the morning it was still there. So that was, that makes it rough when you have nausea feelings on top of having a headache, and sometimes the headache pain can make you nauseous as well. So that's been not a pleasant symptom to arrive. It definitely, like I said, is not like an everyday thing. I've had maybe, really since I was 10 weeks, I've had probably 4 headaches. So I'm really thankful. It's definitely not a super frequent thing, but it is something that now I'm like, okay, I'm having headaches. So, but something that really helps, and I wanted to share this with you guys, is peppermint essential oil. This has been really helpful for when I do have a headache. It also is helping with the nausea as well. So, and actually a tip that I had heard for essential oils is, well, first I put it on my temples, both temples. I put it between my eyes and kind of rub it this way, kind of make like a cross right here. And then I also put it behind, there's like a little bump kind of behind your ears, the bone there. And I put it there behind each ear. And then I also just kind of, if I have any left over, I just kind of rub it on the back of my neck and on the front of my neck. And for nausea, I've heard that it's good if you put like a little drop and just kind of dab it on the roof of your mouth. And that can be helpful too. So this has been helpful. And, just overall, the nausea has actually been, I think in my last update, I can't really remember exactly what I said, but I think I did say the nausea was getting worse than it was. And it's definitely kind of stayed that way. And there's been different things. I did a whole video about things that were helpful for me at the beginning. And a lot of those things are still helpful, like the sparkling water, the crackers, just also being aware of what I'm eating, making sure I'm not eating things that are really heavy or really strong in flavor and spices and all of that stuff. So kind of mild flavored things. So kind of fresh flavored things. Those are ting flavored things, which that is a Chinese word. My husband is Chinese. So that's a word for when something is kind of this fresh. It's a Cantonese word, actually. He speaks Cantonese and Mandarin, but his first language is actually Cantonese. So anyway, that ting type food, so it's like fresh, kind of light and refreshing to eat. There's not an exact translation for it, but I usually use that word because it kind of fits better than some of the words that I try to describe it with. But anyway, so that's kind of what I stick to food-wise. And also it just fluctuates. There's some days I can eat certain things, and then there's some days I just can't. And something I've struggled to that I have not been able to really eat much of is like veggies, especially like green leafy veggies. And I know how good they are for me, and I love them normally. Like we usually would eat a lot of kale, a lot of spinach, all this stuff in our diet, and I just really can't eat those things. And there are sometimes I've been able to eat some broccoli now every once in a while. Again, it's kind of just every once in a while. And I feel like sometimes salads are pretty good. I had Mediterranean food last night. We went out to eat, and I got like a feta Greek salad, and I was able to eat that, and that was good. So I think it's, again, kind of that freshness, because usually when I make kale or spinach, I'll saute it in like butter with some garlic and salt. And I don't know if just those flavors, I think it's just a little bit too heavy or something and strong. I think the spinach and the kale flavor is strong, and I just can't really handle it right now. But I am getting some veggies in and trying to do that as much as I can. But there are some days when I kind of feel like I'm almost forcing myself, and I'm like, okay, I just have to stop because I'm going to get more and more, I'm going to get sick if I just keep eating this. So that's been kind of hard, that a lot of, things that are, crackers are big that I can eat. And then also like I got some like sprouted whole grain bread, and I'm sorry, I kind of burp every once in a while. That's just another part of pregnancy. So I get the bread and I put peanut butter on it. So just bread and peanut butter. And that is kind of a good thing for me to eat, to get some fats and protein and all of that in one. I've also been having cheese with my crackers, so some sharp cheddar cheese. Something about that sourness from the sharp cheddar has been nice with the saltiness of the cracker. So I think I saw that on one of my apps. One of my pregnancy apps was kind of talking about things that can help with the nausea, and it was talking about combining the like carbs with the protein. So that's what gave me the idea of like, okay, I should try to eat some cheese with my crackers, and that is helpful. So I'm thankful I can, you know, get in some of those fats and proteins instead of just eating crackers. So, but I will say it does fluctuate. Something else I've kind of noticed is I feel like the weekends I sometimes can feel better. It really depends on the day. But I think when I get outside, I think fresh air is helpful. And also like walking is helpful. And so sometimes during the week, because my job is a desk job, I don't get out as much. And I do get a 30-minute lunch break, and sometimes in the past, especially, I would use that a lot to go like on a walk or something like that. And I want to like do that more now, especially now that it's kind of cooling off and fall is approaching. I, you know, want to use that time to go for like a walk in the fresh air, because I think that would be helpful. But I've also been really tired, so that's another symptom that comes up. And so I've often been using that 30 minutes. Actually, I do set my timer for 22 minutes usually, and I'll take a nap. And it really is helpful, just that short. It just kind of gives me that boost that I need to keep going. So it's kind of hard, and you know, maybe the walk in the fresh air will rejuvenate me and not make me feel so tired too. So I don't know, I'm gonna try to do that more, especially now that it's cooling off. Another thing that I didn't mention before in my other video, and I did have these like candy type things. They were from Pink Stork, I think. And they are helpful, but they don't have they're very mild in flavor. And I've noticed, I have a friend that gave me these, the Preggy Pops, which I'm sure probably some of you have heard of these. But they are sour, and something about the sourness really helps. So I've actually preferred these, even though they have a lot more like kind of refined type sugar, like corn syrup in them. They have dried cane syrup and corn syrup. And then, you know, they do have flavors with essential oils and natural colors. So it's better than like a typical sour candy. I know some people just do that. They're just like, just give me some warheads, just give me some, you know, something sour, and that can be really helpful. But for me, I kind of wanted to have something a little bit more natural. I mean, it's still candy, but it definitely is helpful sometimes. And I don't do them every day. I don't really do them all the time. I maybe have like, if I once one every other day or something like that, it just kind of depends. But they have been helpful. So I would recommend if like you're kind of wanting that sourness. I've also been doing lemon with honey and like hot water, like a lot of lemon. So like a third of a lemon, and then honey and water. And that's been helpful too, that sourness. So those are some more things I've kind of added to try to, you know, kind of cope with the nauseous feeling. Thankfully, again, I will say that overall it has been mild for me. And also I have longed for this for so long, to be pregnant. I am so thankful that I even have this opportunity. So, you know, it's like, yes, there are times that are tough, but then at the same time, I'm so thankful that I'm experiencing this. So anyway, but I will say overall it has been mild. I haven't actually thrown up at all, but just had that nauseous, queasy feeling, the headaches, the tiredness. I've also had some pains. I think I've talked about this before, but sometimes when I'll stand up from a seating position, I'll be like, oh, wow, okay, it kind of like hurts down there in my uterus. So every once in a while I'll have that. I've also had, I would say actually in my 10th week and into my 11th week, it's still a little bit, I've had a little bit of like brown spotting, very, very light, and almost like where it doesn't even show up when I wipe or anything. I know this is TMI, but it's still part of it. But I have been, you know, I saw it kind of accumulate on my underwear, so I was like, I should probably put a liner on. And, you know, it's just very little, but it is just kind of a little bit of stuff coming out, if that makes sense. But not much. So another thing I will say too is that, and this can be a little TMI too, but my breast area, it's definitely gotten more swollen, like not a huge amount, but they've definitely gotten like somewhat bigger, and I have like no very small breast before, and they're still small, but they've definitely, you know, I can kind of tell feeling in my, you know, my bras just feel a little bit tighter and stuff, and just can tell, you know, that they're just heavier and bigger. And then also my nipples have been really painful, so just like if they get bumped or rubbed or something, it hurts. So it's not so much my breasts are tender anymore. Like before I felt like it was like my whole breasts were tender, but now it's like my nipples are really tender. So yeah, that's something else that's happening. So, but I will show you guys my belly. It's still, you know, pretty small. It does, like I think I said this in my last update, that it kind of fluctuates depending on the day, depending on what I ate, if I'm bloated and whatnot. But I will show you what it looks like right now, and hopefully I can get this in where you can see clearly. Okay, so I got a pretty tight shirt on here, but I will also show you just yeah, so it's definitely bouging out, and I am 11.5 weeks right now. So it's kind of crazy that I'll hit the 12-week mark this coming Wednesday. So it's kind of going by fast, I feel like. And again, I'm just so thankful, and, you know, still haven't sat down and kind of thought about all the logistics of all the stuff we need to get for the babies and all the stuff I want to get. I definitely want to try to keep it as minimalistic as possible that you can be with triplets. But I feel like since I have triplets, I definitely don't want to go overboard. So yeah, we haven't really sat down and kind of thought about everything. And I have some friends that have said that they could kind of help with, you know, things that were helpful for them. I mean, which they didn't have triplets, but still like baby items that were helpful for them. And I would love to hear from you guys, actually, if you have some things that you're like, hey, this was a necessity that we really needed, and I'm so glad we had it. I would love to hear that. So from you that have, you know, new babies, or if your babies are older now and you just, you know, have some insight and wisdom to a first-time mom, that just things that you feel like were really helpful to have to help for care for babies, and especially those of you who are moms of multiples. I would love to hear from you, even if it's twins, triplets, whatever, you know, things that you felt like were really a necessity and really helpful in caring for your babies. And like, what did they sleep in? What was the best, you know, thing for them to sleep in? You know, what was the feeding like? What, you know, I don't know. There's just so much. I'm sure you could probably think of something, but I would love to hear from you below, just so I can start thinking about those things, because I know they're gonna come soon. So anyway, but all right, well, the next video I put up will probably be of an ultrasound, so that will be exciting, because tomorrow I actually go in to see my high-risk doctor for the first time, and we will do an ultrasound and all of that stuff. So definitely stay tuned, and definitely subscribe if you haven't. Thank you so much for all of you who are subscribers. But if you haven't subscribed yet, definitely, I would really appreciate it if you would, and then you can kind of know when the videos are coming up. And I think there's like a bell you can click so you'll get notified. So anyway, that will be the next video that will come up, will be a ultrasound video, hopefully, as long as they let us record. You know, I'm gonna ask, but hopefully they'll let us, or me record, or anyway, hopefully they'll let us record. So I will see you guys in the next one. Bye.